Is this the Saturday night place to be?
I believe so.
I think you are correct. This is the Saturday night place to be, and let's see if the jingle singers know that it's the Saturday night place to be.
On your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Yes, it must be a Saturday evening once again, meaning that if you are on 27085, Channel 11, somewhere on the Universal Media Net web at oldtuberadio.net, you are going to be listening to and are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, where in just moments we'll be chatting with the shortwave listeners and our tube radio operators with their collections of one and of many. Will be checking in with us tonight. I wonder what kind of tubes are warming up. So without any further ado and a little bit of a don't, we will get check-ins going. My name is Dennis, your net controller of the evening, and we will get started with the current SWL0.
Double zero, second in.
Hi, Paul. I hope you can hear me.
I hear you just fine. You sound good tonight, Dennis.
And likewise, thanks for getting us started off. We will get SWL number 1 with Cosmic Check-In. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, who is, back from a journey to Old Radio Night and here at the Old Tube Radio Network, where we have sunspots. The number's 24. You wouldn't have known it today. I went to 20 and 40, and it seems like the band was a little shy, but I have seen some reports of DX right here on this band. So Cycle 25 is definitely ready and rearing to go. Thanks, Kevin, for the check-in. SWL3. SWL4. SWL5. And I will give a check-in for Ida Mama Rose. Earlier this week, she says, say hello to everyone on the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL6. SWL7.
SWL7 checking in.
Sounding good from your air chair tonight. And if you wander into the radio room, the big tube radio room later on, we will reserve a spot for you on the OTR list.
Oh, thank you. I got a whole bunch of tubes warming up.
All right, good deal. Over to SWL 13. And I will try and keep an eye out on the rosters that are various screens in front of me to make sure if you're checking in on some mode of operation that I will be able to get you checked in. SWL 14. SWL 15. Sometimes checks in on Facebook, which is a way you can do it too. I always check that. SWL 16. Yeah, Kevin, that's what I need is the digital modes. Those always seem to be open when the band appears to be closed. You can always go down to 1407, 74 or whatever it is, and you can hear the little whines of the digital things. Over to SWL 17. I wonder if everybody's out the fair. I think the less than big Fresno Fair has started in its COVID form, which I think is something akin to a drive-through. So how many of you, raise your hand, are sitting in your cars at the fair in the line for the drive-through corn dogs? I don't know. Maybe we'll be listening for you out there.
I'm not.
Yeah, makes two of us. SWL 18. Going to get a check-in for Mikey from Facebook. SWL 19 from 14047. You know, I show up to the studio here at some point in the afternoon, and Derby, New York, 14047 is always at the gate waiting for me. So with lightning speed, we got everything set up and ready to go here as usual. So thanks to Derby, New York for all the wires. And we do have, I think we've got the crossband. We'll see. I think I've got the crossband audio into the system here tonight. So we might get a few check-ins that way. Let's go to SWL 20. And I know it's not that much of a jaunt into his radio room now like it used to be. SWL 21. That is Mr. JT from the Wasama Swamps of South Carolina, where tonight on Old Radio Night, can I do this? Let me see. Let me change the picture over. This is what was, what camera do I want? I want that camera. Yeah, this is what was going on if you're watching the video. This is the Courier Centurion. I don't know if it had a number. This was the radio that was featured on Old Radio Night tonight. And what I like is the clock has a light that is lit, and it was actually working. He set the clock live. Let me see if we can jump into a little bit of audio from Old Radio Night.
Yeah, a set of PDL2s on a building right there as you come through. Seemed like it was near...
That's Mr. JT himself.
The, some restaurant. I can't remember the name of that restaurant there. The Whistling Pig.
The Whistling Pig.
I don't know.
That used to be my handle.
If you came into town of
well, there you go. The Centurion looking good and sounding good tonight on Old Radio Night. Make sure you check that out, and I think you can actually hit a subscribe something or button so you won't miss a minute of the DX wackiness from 21. All right, thanks JT for checking in. Over to SWL 22. SWL 23, 23 Skidoo tonight is out near the water, I believe. Listening to WWV from Hawaii. And he's checking in from there. I found it. I want to do it here. I want to check in from the wharf in Santa Cruz, or as he says, the locals call it Squid Row. So 23 is down in Squid Row tonight, doing the CB thing and everything else. Thank you, Mitch, for checking in tonight. Let's head over to SWL 24.
Radio Lounge.
All right, and that was a crossband check-in. We will proxy 20. You said 20. We will do that from the Radio Lounge, KB6GFD.
It is 60 KB.
All right, there was a crossband check-in for SWL 20, which I will get. We got 23 is in. Of course, my mouse is not working. When I click on something, it should... There it goes. All right, 20. Let me see if Joe is in there. SWL 24. SWL 25.
Hello, Dennis. 25 checking in.
SWL 25. Hello, Jerry. I think I missed... Something was going on. I think I missed the Wednesday... Or did I? I don't remember. That's bad. I think I missed Wednesday. Jerry is one of the net controllers on the Wednesday night sideband net. For those of you who can do transmitting on 10 meters, or if you can just SWL up there, you will hear some familiar voices that you hear on OTR, and that is, what is the frequency for that? Over?
That is 28.445 megahertz on voice, and about an hour before is on CW if you want to learn or tune your skills on CW at 28.140 megahertz at 7 o'clock, Dennis. Thanks.
Yes, so your upper sideband audio pleasure on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time here on the West Coast. The bands are opening up. Everybody is welcome. So give it a try. Sometimes we actually stream the audio of that net at oldtuberadio.net so you can listen in as well. Thanks, Jerry, for checking in. We are turning the page over to the top of page 2 for SWL 27.
27's checking in via the FM crossband, just working a little FTA. KI6QM.
Hey, and I actually hear you tonight, and I think everybody else heard you tonight as well. Thanks for checking in. We've got you on the page. KB6GFU.
You're right.
I think I could hear that. I think people might be able to hear that. Boy, I see what's happening. It's killing the Orban with too much audio on the FM side. Dwayne is in. Over to SWL 28, where we head north, way north, and a little east, I think. California's kind of skewed off to the edge, so I think we're going north and east for SWL 28. Chrissy is in, and along with SWL 30, and wearing the green slippers. You know what? I'm in the uniform, the Old Tube Radio uniform tonight, almost there, and I've got the pocket protector at the ready. I think I'll put that on when we start checking in the tubes. I hope everything is okay up there in Idaho. I bet the weather is just fantastic, like it is here in Central California. Thanks for checking in. We've got a proxy check-in for SWL 29 and a check-in for Dwayne, SWL 30. Over to SWL 31. And that is Robert and Teresa. I will check. Let me go over to this other screen and see who is out there. Hello to Fresno and Manhattan Beach. Anoka, Minnesota. Charlie is right in the front row. Hello to you. Dearborn, New York. Also checking to make sure everything is okay. How is my lighting tonight? Okay, don't answer that. The gang in Squamish is out there. Hello to Centerville, Cricklewood, getting up early for the Old Tube Radio tonight. The unknown SWL. I don't see the paper bag. I think they took the bag off and eaten popcorn out of it. Garibaldi, British Columbia. That could be part of the Squamish group. Anyway, British Columbia is definitely on the list tonight. Hello to Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's who we're looking for tonight, Robert and Teresa. We'll get you checked in. Boston is out listening. San Francisco is listening. Dallas, Georgia, Somerville, South Carolina coming up to you, and various stations also tuning in from Fresno. SWL 32. SWL 33. That's myself. I guess I can check in myself, right? Bozo Control, the Jingle Singers, everybody who wanders in that needs to check in can use 33. It can fit. We can fit quite a few people on 33. SWL 34, that is Jimmy. He is not, I haven't seen him barreling down the tracks yet. He might be in a little bit later. Let me refresh my comments, because I have a few that usually show up on my list. Let's try SWL 35. Comments haven't refreshed. If you're there, Bill, I will grab you in just a second. SWL 36. Shortwave listener 37.
37, good evening, Dennis.
Okay. I've elevated the foot switch, so I think I can have a better job of keying the microphone on the transmit side. You are checked in, sir. Thanks.
Okay.
And there is 35. Hello, Mr. Bill, checking in from Cheyenne. Hope all is going well out there. And you've got still a few more days of some nice fall weather before it gets too chilly out that way. Let's head over to SWL 38. Shortwave listener 39. SWL 40.
Well, I haven't done this in a while. SWL 40 checking in stereo. K6VLI.
And it is in stereo. I actually think that there was no delay between the speed of light on AM and the speed of light on FM. and all the audio processing. It was pretty good. I'll have to go back and listen to that, although we did get your call on the other side. So good deal. Got you checked in.
Fantastic.
This is your fantastic frequency. Over to SWL 41. And if I look right at my screen, like I always do, there is Road. I don't know how he does it. Now, there is a delay that way, but somehow Road Dog 507 manages to coordinate perfectly. SWL 41, Worldwide Sidebander 507. Also, Alpha Charlie 244. I've not even listened to 16 lower. The band, I just haven't been by the radio that much, and the band hasn't been that great, but I might be able to talk to some Alpha Charlies there from the Hudson Valley of New York. 41 saying good evening to all the operators tonight. Thank you. Over to SWL 42.
Yeah, that's Proxy and 42 in the game.
All right, we'll get the triple play for Mr. KW and the others there. Over to SWL 43. SWL 44. SWL 44, live and direct from Hyatop, Mount Hyatop. Got you in, Ray. Over. And Mitch is saying I need, the disco, the mirror ball, and the lighting and everything will be perfect. There might be one here somewhere. I've sort of got some background lighting going on, but then again, it's not about the video. It's really about the radios and the audio. Just when you start adding pictures, you've got to look somewhat presentable, right? Let's go to the guy that got us started off as 00. Hello, Paul.
Back again, Dennis. Just put radio on.
I don't know, but it growls and it sounds beefy. So my guess is it's something that is ready to pounce.
Yeah, it's radio. Thanks, Dennis.
And it's definitely glowing in the dark, which is what will we be doing here after the roll call? The Class D radios, maybe some not Class D, I don't know, but the radios from 1958 to 1978, specifically for the Class D 11-meter citizen band radio service, which was created at that time. And in that 20-year period, most of the radios at least started out with the vacuum tubes. And like the old cars that have the fins in chrome, we like to feature them on this particular venue here called the Old Tube Radio Network, and we will be doing that. Let's see if SWL 46 is around. SWL 47.
Well, greetings from the Reluctant Radio Lounge. The weather is so spectacular outside. I had high hopes of checking into the radio patio, but I think I got too lazy, unfortunately. But all the windows are open, and the weather's nice in the lounge, and the smell of lovely vacuum tube radios is wafting in the air. So good evening to you and all the other listeners.
All right, good evening to you. The weather is nice. Heard you, I don't know where you were standing for the 2-meter, but I heard you okay there, and I hear you just fine here on YAM, and we do have you checked in.
Thanks, sir.
And is there a breaking station? This is OTR. All right, so there's 2 stations. One station has no audio, and the other station has weak audio. So try it again. Hello, who is that? Over?
Bullwagon.
Chowchilla.
Oh, in Chowchilla. All right, 46. Yeah, what was happening is I was hearing you, but there was doubling with another station out there in Chowchilla. We've got you checked in 46 over. All right, thanks for the relay on that. Was there another station before we continue?
Bullwagon, he got you checked in.
I bet he can hear those powerful stations.
Hey, Bullwagon.
like it. You're good.
He's good to go. All right, 47 is in, 46 is in, 45 is in. Let's try SWL 48.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead.
I almost forgot. 20 here.
This is the I almost forgot frequency. Somebody actually proxied you in on the 2 meter side. I thought if you were closer to a 2 meter radio, we might have heard you there, but we're hearing you here. We are hearing you on the AM side, and you're sounding good and you're checked in.
Okay, don't forget 29 and 54 also. And I'll be back with a radio of interest.
All right, because this is the place to do that. And 29 has been checked in, coming up to 54. Let me call 48 again. Let me call, let's do it this way. Let me call SWL 24. All right, SWL 24. We've got you, Joseph. Thanks. And he might be waiting patiently if indeed the static and QRM and QRN has subsided. SWL 49. Having a lot of interference out his way, I know for sure. SWL 50. SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
SWL 51. The best sounding S8 signal that you will ever get. I'm always amazed. I look down and say, how come that's not 15 over? It sounds like it. You are doing good, Mr. 305. We got you checked in. SWL 52. I got my APRS up and running on the amateur side, and 52 used to have his truck beaconing all the time, but I don't see it on the grid squares anymore, so I'm not sure what he's up to. SWL 53.
Hello, Dennis. 53 checking in.
I'm hearing you loud and clear, Bob. The Bel Air is checked in.
Thank you.
Then we head over to page 3. Let me say hello to who's on the video side. Up north, hop, skip, and a jump. Gary is listening in from Sacramento. I need that beam. Anybody see Motormouth Mall's John's what is it? The 100-foot boom? I don't know how many elements, 17 or 18 element beams that he just put up in the air. I've heard him backscatter before, but Gary, maybe you can borrow Motormouth's 100-foot boom beam and point it down 99. 77 today and no smoke. We probably had minimal smoke, and I think it got to 80 here in this part of the Central Valley. But the Sacramento Valley sounds good. You get a little bit more of the Bay Area breezes than we do. Thanks, Gary, for checking in. Hello to Warren is listening in, and also from South Arkansas, Paul has tuned in the Old Tube Radio Network tonight, so thanks for jumping on the Saturday night place to be. We're checking in SWL 54, Mr. Boardjammer. SWL 55?
55 checking in, Dennis.
All right, 55 with a big-time signal here into Midtown. You are sounding good. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. From Prather.
All right, now good spot. Good spot in Prather. Well, Eminem knows how to position the radio to beacon down here into the valley. Let's go over to SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and Annette. 56, just for kicks.
And sounding good. If there was an all-around perfect attendance award for all the nets that happen here in the Central Valley, I think Phil would be in the running. He is, for one thing, he is cursed with the, anybody remember in school if you had last, they go by last names and your name started with an A, and so you'd always get called first, or you always had to be first. And Phil is like that with his amateur call. It starts with an A, so he is very good at making sure that he is ready to go. So thanks, Phil. We are doing the direct-to-net roll call here at the Old Tube Radio Network. The glow-in-the-dark radios will be coming right up after the roll call. If the lights don't burn out, it seems like it's getting darker in here. Maybe it's just me. SWL 57. '57 is Mr. Brown Dog from Central Kentucky. Don't see him in yet. Let's try SWL 58. Catch him on the Saturday, or the Friday night, Ned. We'll talk about that in a little bit. SWL 59. Shortwave listener 60.
Thank you, Dennis. Evening time to all the fellas out there. Doggone it, we got a chance to talk to Kenny 800 today. And Marsha answered the phone and told me that we talked for a while about her and how she was, but she told me Kenny had an accident. Most of us know that he lives upstairs in the apartments. Well, he fell down the steps outside. He went to the bottom and hurt himself, in several places. So I guess when we call out 069 there, you might want to throw a shout out to him and give him a little something there. Get well, Kenny. Anyway, SWL 60 checking in on the 291 base, the DX2527.
Sounding good on the 2527. Thanks for the update. That's the kind of news we don't like to hear, but sounds like he is able to be on a road to recovery, which is a good thing. So we'll give them all a shout out when we at the end of this row of check-ins here in the 60s. SWL 61. SWL 62. SWL 63. I'm going to give a 63 proxy out there in North Georgia. He was on, Butterbean was on the old radio night tonight. He might not have been able to stay up late enough to check in here, but did see him on out there with the JT and the gang. Over to SWL 64. See if Marshmallow is in. SWL 65.
SWL 65 checking in. Hopefully you got a copy on this rig this weekend.
You are sounding good, well over the noise floor here in Midtown today.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good evening.
All right, thanks, Eric. Sounding good on the Old Tube Radio tonight, where in about 15 minutes or so, we'll be chatting with those glow-in-the-dark tube radios looking for SWL 66. SWL 67. I'm looking for, I would be somewhere in Oregon on the big board here tonight. I don't see him in just yet, so we'll put a hold on that one. Let's try SWL 68. And SWL 69. Kenny, what can we say? Be careful, right? But you know that. Glad that you are able to listen in and watch this video. We are sending healing powers your way from Central California. Hello, 69. And I always know Kenny checked in because if you go to the video, you will see his SWL 69. Click on the check-in. SWL 70. SWL 71. And that is Stan out in Dallas, Georgia. He is there. You know, let me try this video thing again. I did one earlier. I think, what I'm going to do is do that and click over to the 9. We should probably change, Stan, we should probably change your SWL number, or maybe honorary 604. And if Stan was at the microphonium, he could probably tell us a little bit about that particular rig we're seeing right there in the picture. And in fact, I think somewhere there might be one of him somewhere in the cockpit of 604. Anyway, Stan, you are looking good and sounding good tonight here on the 71/6604, the old Tube Radio Network. Let's go over to SWL 72. That is Eric in Clovis. SWL 73.
73, K6MI, good evening to everybody. 2-meter length, thank you.
And hearing you just fine on the 2-meter length tonight, from AM to FM, they're both a good mode and sounding nice. Thanks for checking in. KB6GFD. That is John, SWL 73, who has various tube radios that will work on the 11-meter band, and a lot of them, maybe most of them, are from the non-Class D radio service from before 1968, so they might be just a wee bit heavier than the sets that you are used to. Also, John does a good job as the I guess we'll say editor for the Fresno Amateur Radio Club newsletter, and is also an avid, I'll say, contester who, if you peruse the pages of QST, you might often see his call in one of the probably, I don't know, maybe single op or QRP areas or something like that. So John is really good at getting a signal out when all else would say otherwise. Thanks for checking in. Let's go over to SWL 74.
Yeah, if you could proxy 74 in, Dennis, that'd be great. Thank you.
Got a proxy for, I guess we'll call 74 the original Tower of Power with the 50,000 watts, although she is a far cry from the Tower District. Thanks for checking in. Over to SWL 75. SWL 77.
Yes, sir. The new and improved Tower of Power out of the Tower District. Sending 73s to all the listeners, and sure appreciate everything you do, Dennis. 77, checking in.
All right. Well, I appreciate being able to do it. And the people staying up late and foregoing their Saturday evening activities to jump in on the radio to make what is the Old Tube Radio Network. And I have to laugh. Private Thor says, Dennis, you hold the mic like a trucker. I know. The reason I'm holding it like this is because the coil cord, this is going to a control head that's way over on the other side of the rack, and I don't want to pull anything off the table. And no, I have never shifted 18 gears. I probably haven't shifted more than about 4 gears. So I would really have to learn the proper way to hold this. But that's because I can actually reach the microphone. Before the crossband stuff was across the desk. So maybe by default, right? Let me, while I'm keyed up here, or is it keyed down? I can't remember. I think we key up. We key up to transmit. You key down to be... to do something bad on somebody else. But we're keying up tonight. SWL 34, Jimmy is barreling through the frequently here. 34, the railroader from Chicago, Illinois, checking in. I will get you on the hard copy as well. And that takes us to, we did 77, SWL 78. That's Rich out in Everett. Usually in Everett. Sometimes he's at different places. We'll see. I don't think we had any Washington stations coming in. British Columbia is about as close as we've got so far. SWL 79 checked in somewhere earlier because I've already... Oh, he checked in it over at oldtuberadio.net, which you can do. So, Philip, I've got you checked in. And over to SWL 80. Then over to page 4. We will get a check-in for Steve Areno, Mr. Unicorn, who is at the super secret DX location. The land of, what did Art Bellish say? The land of Nye or something like that. But he is doing well. Chatted with him a little bit on a text message. He says, say hello to all the tube radio operators and SWLs. Well, we just did. Let's go over to SWL 82.
82, checking in from the Ditch Banks of Iowa. Good evening.
Sounding good on the Ditch Banks, and a voice that you will hear maybe in the air chair, maybe not, on the Friday night sideband net, the Ditch Banks sideband net, which happens Friday evenings at 8 p.m. at 36 lower, 26,365. Everybody's welcome when the DX is running. Give it a shot. And sometimes I will put the audio of that particular venue up at oldtuberadio.net. So if you can't hear it live, maybe we'll be streaming it on Friday evenings. Give it a listen. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis.
And Ron does a good job, even though he's new to the CB radio. He got his radio just last week, but he sounds like a pro. So my hat is off to you, Ron. Let's go to SWL 84. Got a note to get Jerry and the gang checked in, which I will do. Over to SWL 85. On the remote stream Saturday night from Big Town of Reedley. I think Reedley is going to be well represented tonight with a signal of about S7 and probably one at about 70 over here in moments. We will see. Thanks, John. We'll do the triple play for SWL 86, SWL 87, and SWL 88. And that is the Mountain Maid Candy Girl and the Snowy Owl, respectively. Also, I will get a check-in for SWL 89, and that is Darren from a Facebook check-in. Also have a check-in for SWL 90. We'll call out to Madeira, SWL 92. SWL 93, I heard that we are getting a check-in for Louis, and I will do that. Up to SWL 98. And hello, 98. Dave is at the microphonium, and I've got you checked in 544.
Hello, Dave.
And Chrissy says, wearing my formal outfit. Well, I didn't put the tie on tonight because I've actually got stitches in my neck, believe it or not. And I thought, wearing the tie tonight just isn't going to feel all that great. So Chrissy says she might want to put on her business suit. Well, we mean business. This is my business suit, as it were. We mean business. Remember, on the old Tube Radio Network, our goal is to get as many radios and tubes as possible. And we'll see how we do tonight. Heading into the triple digits for SWL 103. SWL 109. Shortwave listener 110. All right, I've adjusted the headphones. SWL 111.
There we go, Dan. Okay, news on Motormouth Mall. It's a 120-foot boom, 14 elements. It's very wide-banded, and I've talked to him about OTR, and he said he's going to make it one of these nights. One of these nights, he's going to aim that thing at us, and ground wave, no problem. And, man, 800, take care of yourself, buddy. You got to take care of yourself. We're okay out here. It's nice to hear everybody. I came in town just so I could hear everybody's voice. On AM, I just can't hear everybody. I can't hear very many at all, really. Too much noise in Reedley. Y'all take care. God bless. 111, checking in.
and sounding good doing it. You're on the archives. If you want to hear your bodacious mobile radio, check out the YouTube or the audio archive. Okay, I stand corrected, and I apologize to John for shortchanging the boom by about 20 feet. I think he used thousands, I would say thousands and thousands of feet of Phyllis Strand guy wire to keep the thing from oscillating. If you see a picture of it, he's got the boom supports not only vertically, but horizontally as well. I have heard him on backscatter, sort of backscatter direct during the when Cycle 24 was going really well about 5 years ago. And my other younger brother back down in L.A. when John was living in Brentwood, and this is probably 25 or maybe even 30 years ago, used to talk to him down there when he was doing the audio thing. Before he went into the big time, I think he was located in Brentwood. So yeah, we will look forward to seeing if Motormouth Mall can say hello to the old tube radio network. That would be fun when Cycle 25 starts working pretty good. And thanks, Robert, for the extra effort tonight in jumping into Fresno tonight.
It's different. Y'all take care. 111, clear.
It's nice when you can hear it. Robert, it's nothing that a 120-foot vertically polarized boom couldn't fix for you down there in Reedley, I bet. All right, we are going along. Let's try SWL 113.
Reedley.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I can usually hear you. It's just I know you have the static thing going on. Let's try SWL 113. SWL 114. Thought I heard Wayne last night. I might give him a proxy check-in if he doesn't make it soon. Let's see. Where are we going? Oh, we're going to SWL 128. And I have been neglecting refreshing my page. There he was, about 30 minutes ago, as always. Checking in over at oldtuberadio.net. And John actually started SWLing about the same time I did, back in the early 70s, with my FM 1000 from Hallicrafters and things like that. And John was actually, and this is something I never did, he actually got one of the SWL official numbers or cards. I don't know exactly how that worked, but I guess when I call 128, I should also call WPE 91CM, Whiskey Papa Echo 91 Charlie Mike, from back in the days of true SWLing. Anyway, John is always listening to our Old Tube Radio Network, and we appreciate it. From a consummate SWL. Thanks, John. Over to SWL 131.
131 right here in Old Town Clovis, taking it.
Okay, I was wondering if we could get an Old Town Clovis check-in tonight, and indeed we did. And it's been a while, but the X in the square looks good. Thanks, Mr. Root. Over to SWL 133.
132, checking in.
Checking in, sounded good. Good signal tonight, Dave, out of northwest Fresno. We've got you checked in. Over to SWL 135. I believe someone said make sure that 135 gets a proxy check-in. He was out here last week. And the week prior. And did some mobile radio as well. That was pretty fun. Let's go over to, got a check-in for SWL 137. And let me see what Tony has picked up for AM. The AM rig tonight, SWL 145.
Yeah, good evening, Dennis, and all the SWLs. Tony, SWL 145, checking in. Yeah, still struggling with the sideband stuff, getting that stuff dialed in. And I want to thank you for running the archive, because I really enjoy having my Sunday morning coffee and rewatching the show. Roger, back to you, Dennis. Thank you. You did a great job.
All right, and thank you for being part of it. I think we heard you last night for a second. And I don't know, you were there, but it popped out. But you will get the hang of it. You will get it on frequency or on time or whatever it needs to be, because the AM part definitely sounds good here tonight. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, I thought I heard my name being called and my number last night, and I keyed up. I don't know if I keyed up over somebody, and like I said, I was having trouble dialing it in. But we'll get it down sooner or later. Thank you again for everything you do, Dennis. 73, everybody.
All right, thanks, and sounding good here tonight. And I have to chuckle. Paul, who is watching the video, I think maybe you need to put that saying on a T-shirt. You might be able to make some money. He says, when it comes to CB, I don't need to talk far, just often. I think that would be... I don't know if that describes a lot of us, but that might be a nice T-shirt to have. Let's head over to SWL 147. Neil in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Neil has a 6 call, so he is familiar with California, where he used to hang out. But now he is in Kakalaki, where today they had some E-skip. Rolled in Tuesday. Florida, Georgia, Alabama, then Nevada, and Southern California came roaring in out of nowhere. First time in months. Well, according to Mr. OBP, we do have some sunspots beaconing towards us here. And if we were to chat, I did my homework tonight, Neil. If we were to chat, you are exactly 2,242.8 miles away as the crow or the mockingbird or whatever you want flies from my particular station here. So if we get some conditions for 42.8 miles, I might be able to hear you. Thanks for checking in. Let's head up to Course Gold for SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis. You sound good tonight.
And likewise, somebody mentioned, maybe it was Dennis, said something about all the San Joaquin Valley. The local stations have been sounding really good lately. And just listening tonight, I'm hearing everybody with no problem. So maybe the air is cleared up a little bit, or the less heat. Who knows? But got you checked in. Thanks for listening. And let me get one more here, and then we'll open it up if anybody wants to comment or try and check in. SWL 226. That is Jeff. I'm going to give Jeff a check-in. It's amazing. I can hear him on the sideband when he checks in from his place on sideband. The AM probably has a little bit of noise or something to it. Who else? We're listening. Any other check-ins or comments before we switch over to the tube radios? Over. At Break OTR, go ahead. Over. Up there past, what is it, Angels Camp, Yosemite, 650, in a great location tonight, putting a great signal here into Midtown and sounding good doing it. Hope all is well, and you can get, as they say, get her done.
Thank you, Dennis. And I'll give you guys all an update next weekend on how the fire is doing. I haven't been around for a week, so I'll find out and let everybody know.
Okay, I think they actually, Friday was the last day they were having the gatherings at Clovis for the Creek Fire, so that tells me that they're getting things distributed, and people affected have probably been there and got what they need to start rebuilding. So that's probably a good sign, and hopefully it won't take forever, right? But it's going to take a while. But we're all hoping everybody can get back to where they want to be. Thanks for checking in. Also, I want to check in SWL 103, as I do see Jeff. Cheesy Easy 103 is beaconing on the video site. So, Jeff, you are checked in. Sideband, AM, FM, whatever. We've got you. Okay, what I'll do is I will get ready for the tube radios. Give us some time to get checked in. Maybe we will have some long-distance conditions tonight. Who knows? Oh, and before I go, I neglected to tell you what to expect when you check in tonight and head over to the green room, over to the Bob and Steve show in Ohio. With the help of the Jingle Singers, Bob and Steve tonight hung 133 pictures of old CB tube radios on the walls of the green room lounge. That sounds like something that we might get an award for. 133 pictures. I will have to see. I know I saw one of them coming in. It was very large. And so this should be something that you will want to see before you step into the air chair tonight. Head on over to the green room and take it out. When you get time to check them out, you will find one just like yours that you had years ago. Yes, no doubt the Regency Imperial, perhaps, or the Realistic Navajo, maybe. At the bar tonight from the dish banks of Iowa, I like that. We are having grilled sweet corn on the cob with a bit of garlic butter and sloppy joes. Well, maybe no one is going to jump into the air chair. They'll be out there eating. The popcorn tonight in the balcony is free from Bob and Steve. I wondered why there were so many people up there tonight and why the unknown SWL had taken the bag off his head, probably filled it with that free popcorn. So come on down after the net and don't forget to feed the fish. And there are many of them, and I've been trying to do well. I got those little freeze-dried worm things that you stick in there and then they start. They're kind of neat. It's neat to watch the freeze-dried worms. You can tell my life is boring. Thanks, guys, and we'll be back in just a moment on your old tube radio network.
KB6 GFD, KM6 BNY mobile.
Hey, sounding good on 2 meters, over. KN6 BMY from KB6GFD.
Thank you. It's 180. Good show. BNY mobile, clear.
All right, yeah, you must be in my dead spot there, but you came back. So you're sounding good. Thanks for checking in tonight. Looked good on the S meter. And I think everybody got a kick out of actually hearing really big time. KB6GFD.
Is that you, Dennis, transmitting in digital?
Oops. I'm not sure. It seemed like it switched over. Is that better?
Yeah, I heard you that time.
Okay, I heard the thing make a beep. Yeah, I think what I have to do is I have to force this particular VFO to stay on FM, because what it does, it looks for digital, so then it flops over. But it's supposed to, if it sees FM, it's supposed to automatically go to FM.
Yeah, because you came back to the guy, it sounded like a bunch of digital noise, so defaulting or something.
All right, well, I looked at the screen. It says I'm FM. Otherwise, it would be in DN. Unless he's got a digital something, then it might sense it, but I don't think so. All right, it says it's FM now, so I think we're good. I will have to keep an eye out that. You know, the novice at the rig here, what can I say? KB6GFD back to the other microphone here.
K6 Viola.
All right, I might have done this correctly. Let's see. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. It happens about this time of night on a Saturday evening here in the Central Valley of California, thanks to our tube radio operators and SWLs. We'll see what we can do tonight. And if you were listening in earlier on the SWL side, there is a link to that grilled sweet corn honey lime recipe that is out in the green room tonight. Just go to oldtuberadio.net and look for the link for that. Or join us, won't you? Right here live tonight for the best place to be on Saturday evenings where the radios glow in the dark. OTR is standing by and listening for radio number 1.
Number 7.
45.
Get the radio to key up. All right, number 7 and 45. Paul, you will be radio 2. Jump into the green room. And I will be right with you, Paul, right now. Let's grab Mr. Ed, SWL7 at 8:58. All right, getting a tube radio in here before the top of the hour. I've got a lot of new stuff on the desk, so I'm trying not to break stuff. Hello, radio.
Ooh. Well, let's hope this works. It's been a couple of years since I've had this radio going. But I see Chrissy Miller may be in a little bit of anxiety, but her anxiety should go away because this is a green radio. It's a Robin T123 no B base mobile radio with the winking and blinking eye, which is green also, and channel 11 has a green strip. I don't know why. This radio, it has the 1 through 8 channels are red, green 9 through 14 are green, 15 through 22 are red, and 23 is green. Why? I don't know.
Because they can, or it might have been back in the day of channel grouping, something like that. Definitely green. Occasionally it will growl at you. It'll growl at us, but it goes away. Audio sounds like a robin should sound. And the louder you talk, or maybe it's the more you talk, the more green or whatever color that is on the magic iTube will happen, I guess. Over.
Oh, there you go. Well, sometimes it keys up really nice, and other times it makes strange noises. It's kind of like Frankenstein radio, but hey, as long as it still works, I'm going to keep trying to check it in.
And we'll be right here to help you with that. It's working great. If you listen to the audio archive, you will be pleased with what you are hearing, as I am, and I'm sure our SWLs as well. The Robin T123. This was their radio that came out prior to the B in 1972. It will run 12-volt DC or 115-volt AC, so yes, indeed, if you had the proper cabling, you could go mobile with that radio. 11 tubes and also 2 transistors. I think that has something to do with the 12-volt power supply, I think. Sounding great, a good way to get us started off. We'll go back to you for another transmission. Thanks for bringing it by.
Well, good deal. I've had it warming up for a few days to try to make sure something didn't blow up. Cliff had one exactly like this that kind of popped a cap, so I was worried. But anyway, we'll let you get back to that, and I'll have some more radios for you.
All right, is that the one that has the, maybe it's the B that has it, that's the standby or the switch that keeps the filaments running?
Yes, it does. Yeah, so I have it on standby. It keeps filaments going, and I've had it running like that for days before I even spoke on it. And today's actually the first time I've keyed it up in a couple of years.
Not bad. It hasn't missed a beat. Like you said, it did the growling thing a couple of times, but it seems to be happy that you brought it out to play, and so are we. Thanks.
Oh, and thank you. I'll be listening for radios and bring a couple more by.
Okay, we will do that. It is 9:01. Let's see, at the top of the hour, Paul, 45, go ahead and step into the air chair. We'll be right with you. I want to officially place the pocket protector, the official OTR pocket protector, where you can get green stamps in the OTR pocket here to see if it works. And who is going to be our pen sponsor tonight? Tonight, it'll be Allen Radio and Electric from Bridgeport, at the Bridgeport Laundromat, phone 65, Bridgeport, Nebraska. So thank you, Allen Radio and Electric from at the Bridgeport Laundromat, where you could, I guess, wash your underwear and pick up a 6146 for your radio. Hello, Paul.
I was going to ask you about those, so I'm glad you showed them to me. Hey, good, Dennis. Thanks. Anyway, I'd like to check in my Demco satellite base station. That's the way you have it written up.
All right. I thought it was something big when I heard that growl when it keyed up. So let me see if I'll go through the Rolodex here and find the Demco satellite base station, probably under Demco Electronics. Sounds like you might be a distance away from the microphone, but I hear you just fine over.
Okay, I can talk into it here a little closer. I kind of stay away from it, watching my meter. Well, it's a Demco Satellite Deluxe with a power modulator on the thing, model SPM-4, 1966 manufacture date on the thing. Back to you.
All right, audio is good. Yeah, I don't want to go anymore. You know the meters, so keep your eye on the wiggle meters there. This is indeed, okay, I have the picture of the very radio on which you are talking. The three-piece, actually, with the speaker, and I believe that's your microphone also plugs into the speaker for the Demco modulator. Oh boy, that is a lot of turning and twisting to get that thing on the air, it looks like. Over.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to set up. I enjoy it when I get it set up. It's got so many things on the thing. It's amazing. It's only 3 foot long when it's set up with all 3 pieces on it. But it's got a modulator on the thing with a built-in speaker, right? And it's got 23 channel cluster control channels on the thing with a VFO receiver. This thing got total of 17 knobs, 16 tone switches, and 13 lights on the front of the thing. It looks like a Christmas tree. Back to you.
You took the words out of my mouth. I see the red and the green lights, and then I think on the transmit, you've got different colored lights between the transmitter and receiver. It needs its own table, and I think you've got it displayed correctly. I don't think that radio you would do it justice by stacking the pieces vertically. So I like the way you've got it, and it sounds good. The Demco made a couple of different satellite stations. There was also an earlier version that didn't have the Demco name on it. And who has the Demco bell? It's JT. It's been a long time since we could actually ring the Demco bell. So I don't know if you're listening 21, but get your Demco bell handy. Like Paul said, 1966, the original price just under $400. So this was about the same price at the time that the Browning Eagle came out. So this radio and the Browning Eagle about the same price. So I think that would have been a hard choice.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm running a D104 non-amplified desk microphone. That came with the radio, so I'm sure the manufacturer's made for it. It's just got so many goodies on the front, and everything almost likes to tell you what's going on with the radio. You just flip your switches down below. Anyway, down below, turn those, and the lights come on, and different modes, and they got names on it, so you can go right to them. Very, very interesting radio. I really do like it. Back to you.
We like it too. Has some nice fidelity to the audio. 23 crystal controlled with variable tuning, so obviously you have to do the spot thing. Assuming you can find which knob is the spot switch, and I see that at ultituberadio.com, although I haven't checked it out, but I see there's a link to an operator's manual. That would be a good thing to have. That I would absolutely require an operator's manual if indeed I found myself in the air chair in front of the Demco satellite. The deluxe base station from Paul, who is up in North Fork about 30 or 40 miles away from this location, doing a good job. We'll go back to you for transmission. Thanks for bringing it by tonight.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you need the operator's manual for the thing. I tell you, it really is. There's so many things to go in there. It's rather confusing. If you've done it once, then it's not bad. But after that, you need the manual. All right, thanks for checking it in. I really enjoy this radio. It's really a really nice radio. Thanks a lot for checking it in, Dad.
And thanks for bringing it by on the Old Tube Radio Network. Top of the hour, we missed the jingle singer, so let me go up there. We'll get our, as we call it, ID out of the way, and then we will be listening for more radios.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The station for you, OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network. We are looking for radio number 3. And Larry, I just realized changing to FM only is easier said than done on that radio. I think it's going to be about five button pushes in a menu. Or I just have to learn how to use the microphone properly. I might have set it off into some Never Never Land, but in theory you're supposed to leave it in that mode, and it will figure out how it wants to talk to the station coming in.
Well, if it's a Chinese radio, good luck.
It isn't. Well, maybe it's made into it, but it is not. It is not what you think.
How about an American-made radio?
That is why we are here. In fact, probably 88.76% of the radios tonight that we will hear will be made in America. Go ahead, sir.
Well, this time, the Tram TR27E, 23-channel transmit and receive with the Electro Voice 638 microphone.
The damn Tram, as Dr. J used to say, and as Phil SWL56 says, Tram, the rig refreshing, the TR27E. You know what I'll do? Let me go to the full page ad. We'll kind of scroll down and look at the ad while we talk to and about the radio here at 9:10 Pacific Daylight Time. I guess the downside of the advertisement is it's monochrome, but I will, and I promise Chrissy, we will cut to the glorious shot of the radio in all of its greenness. But in the meantime, back to you for transmission.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I like their advertisements because they would give you tips on actually how to operate the radio and how to get inside and do the peaking and tweaking. And this radio will definitely do a lot more than what the stock specifications are.
I think in the early days, there were probably a lot of radios like that had the capability, either power-wise or frequency-wise, to do things that you weren't FCC type accepted. I mean, the radios were type accepted, but if you were a little bit on the technical side, you could, what's the word I'm looking for? You could strap them out a little bit. All you would have to do, at least for the Tram, is probably give them a phone call to their place in Winnisquam, New Hampshire, or maybe write them at P.O. Box 187, Department 10A, and say, hey, how do I make this thing sound just a little bit better? And I bet they'd probably put you right into some engineer who would tell you, here's what you might want to do. And in fact, they were they had no shame. They would tell you right on their advertisements, here's what to do. But I'm sure all those service tips were probably FCC accepted. Back to you.
There you go. Well, it looks really nice on the watt meter. It is definitely a wee little bit off frequency, I can see. Pretty close, about 1.5 kilohertz off, but oh well. Hey, you know, they're old, they're tubes, but it's big, it's green, so therefore it's my radio, so I enjoy it.
As do we. All right, you know, I neglected. Let me get the extreme close-up. Whoa, that is the extreme close-up. All right, the radio's so big it doesn't even fit in the whole shot here. And we'll go across the front. We've got the noise limiter, the volume control, the squelch. It even lets you know it's a two-way radio. Back in that time in 1963, your television also let you know that it was in color, too. So that was a big thing. Two-way radio, color TV. External crystal socket, you can, like the Demco, which separate transmitter, a separate receive, or variable receive, crystal control transmit, so you have to align the two with the spot switch, and we'll focus. We'll leave it right here. And the world's CB, in CB radio, the best S meter there ever was, I think. Looks great. Sounding great for Radio 3. Thanks for bringing it by.
Oh, and thank you. Yep, that is the very radio, and in fact, in the exact same place on the desk that it was sitting when I took the photo, and unfortunately, there's a little bit of dust you can see underneath there. That is no longer that's no longer there. I keep it clean.
Okay, and before you go, one of the SWLs is asking, in fact, Mitch is asking, what does the extra switch do? I know you've told us, or maybe you don't know. I can't remember. I know it does something, but maybe we don't know. Let me go to the close-up once again, and what is being addressed here. There are two red, one is a button, I'll call it, underneath the S meter, and the other is a switch between the speaker and the receive tuning dial. Have you dared to flip the switch? Over.
Yes, I dared to flip the switch. Yeah, that's the only thing on the radio that's not stock. Someone put that in there. If you go to channel 1, flip that switch, it will drop down below channel 1. I forget exactly what frequency, but it must have been for someone who was doing AM below 1.
Okay, and they could be modified, but with the crystals, it wasn't like the chips. I know the Robin had, you had synthesized things, and you could flip things around and get another extra 4 channels here, 4 channels there. But we're glad that it didn't get messed up, and it still has channel 11, which it looks like it's actually tuned to in the photo. Thank you for that.
Oh, and thank you. With that, I'll listen back and get another radio to go.
Perfect. Thanks for Radio 3, the Tram TR-27E. And let's rewind just a little bit to address something that we were talking about earlier, and that was the colored designations or the colored backgrounds on the channel selectors. And a few of you have accurately told us what they were. The color code on the channel selector was for the interstation and intrastation designation. Channels 10 through 15 and channel 23 were the only frequencies where stations not under the same license were allowed to communicate. Because typically, when they started this in 1958, the FCC kind of wanted you to talk to stations in your license. That is, husband to wife, or family members to family members, business to a business person. So you'd be KEO 8492 base to Unit 1 or Unit 2. So that is intrastation. Interstation would be, KEO 8492 to KFF 7725. And you're calling a different call. And so what they did with that, they said, well, if you're going to do that, use these channels. Now, when I was down in Southern California, channel 12 and 13, nobody used their handles. Everybody used call letters because they were trying to go by that rule of intrastations or interstations, where 2 stations under the same license were allowed to communicate. And they used to call it, this is a real legal frequency here. So what they did is they used call letters, and they went off and 2 stations, not at the same call, would talk to each other. And that's sort of the way they thwarted when the FCC was in town, right? If you had everything else kosher, your antenna wasn't too high and you weren't doing idle chit-chat, although I don't know what you would be doing otherwise. And you weren't over 4 watts, 5 watt DC input, et cetera, then you might be able to get by when nobody else is on the radio and the FCC was out perusing the area to be on channel 12 or 13 at one of the inter channels talking to somebody with a different call sign. So I distinctly do remember that. And that solves yet another mystery, if indeed it was at this time. The Old Tube Radio Network, we're standing by for Radio 4.
45.
Just like the best day fishing, you throw the line out and you get a bite immediately. Hello, Paul. I'm going to mark you down as Radio 4. Back to you.
Okay, great. This is my Sonar Model E.
Bringing out the Rolodex, running to sonar, and I think we've got some pretty decent photos of the Model E, so I'll put one up here and let you tell us a little bit about the sonar. Over.
Okay, I'm waiting for the picture to come up. But anyway, it's manufactured in New York. The approximate year was 1961. And I found it in August 1961, Popular Electronics magazine, so I know it's in that area right there for sure. The first Model E is in SAMS 2, and the revised one like mine is in SAMS 4. They had some more tube changes when I got this and after I got mine. Very nice radio, giant microphone. Let you finish that up. Thank you.
Known for their good audio quality, part of that was their internal circuitry with the push-pull audio. I'm not sure if they did it on the Model E. And the other thing was they didn't use a very tiny little crystal element. As you noticed, they have that very large transducer there. Someone calls it like a piece of toast with the push-to-talk and a coiled cord on it. Very neat-looking radio. You can kind of tell the early radios, they would do 6-volt, 12-volt DC if they were mobile, and typically to keep the price down, because you had to put 23 crystals in, or maybe 46 if you're doing transmit and receive and do the VFO thing. This was like the early days in 8-channel radio for the transmit, all crystal controlled, and then you could use the knob down at the bottom to tune all 23. And I'm looking to see if it has an external crystal socket. No, it does not, but it does have the red and the blue or the green light for power, and it looks like it says antenna, so I don't know when you transmit if that red light comes on or not. Over.
Yeah, I didn't get all that, but whatever. This is 24-channel VFO receiver on the thing. It has no meter, as you see in the picture. That's an added meter. Very nice to have, which I don't have one like it. I wish I did. Yeah, it's got the light colors on it. It lights up, and that's it. No meter, nothing on the thing. Anyway, its approximate size is about the same as the General Radio Telephone MC11A, so it's not a giant radio. One of the earlier ones that Solar made, they were all good radios, I think, that Solar made. Back to you.
I agree. There are lots of fans of the Sonar radios, especially the FS series and the bigger 23 channels. But when we get the Model E's and the G's tuning in, they always sound good. They always have great audio. I've got a shot of an inside. Let me do that before we go. Here is, okay, we're looking at the crystals. There we go. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It says it's a Model E. There's our tube complement and all sorts of goodies. It's amazing that can make sound that goes across the world. Back to you.
Yeah, nice to look in the thing and see the big old crystals in there. Those are the larger size crystals. Very quality radio. Very, very nice. I love it. It's nice looking with a gold color case on the thing. Really well ventilated. So they just like I said, they made a super radio. So anyway, back to you.
They made a super radio. The other question I had, when you transmit, does the red light come on?
No, my green light does, though.
Okay, we're playing red light and green light. All right. Well, someone mentioned that since the red light says ant, A-N-T, perhaps if it comes on, you should look around for fire ants or maybe hide the picnic basket. Just a warning. Radio number 4, the Sonar Model E, and as always, sounding good. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you. Now, that's correct on that red light. You have got to watch that thing. Interesting how they did that, and they don't tell you much about it. You just got to find it from different sources. Interesting. Thanks, Dennis.
Okay, yeah. That's probably why they don't tell you about it. Let it be a little bit of a surprise. Speaking of surprises, I think the Jingle Singers are here to surprise us once again with the thing they do best, and that is promoting the Saturday night place to be, the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
The Old Tube Radio Network beaconing on a Saturday evening. Here in Central California, my name is Dennis, net control operator, at least for tonight, checking in radios and the shortwave listeners. And then Jimmy says, oh yeah, the Sonar made the Sonar call box, which was a, where's the radio? It is external device. And there's the S-meter that went with it. The FCC really didn't like you building tone devices into the radio. I know General Radio kind of got dinged for having their tone call, but if you had a separate device like Sonar did, or an external separate piece like Sonar and Johnson had one as well, maybe they were a bit more forgiving. So I'll have to check on the Sonar website. There's probably a really great picture of that. Thanks, Jimmy. I forgot about the call box. I don't know if any of our stations, and we've been checking in Sonars for a long time. I can't remember if we've ever had anybody that's had the Sonar call with that to demonstrate or not. Looking for radio number 5.
Oh, that could be considered a tone?
That is, I think in the true sense, it's considered a tone, but not in a call device, although it did work pretty good as such.
Whoops. Let me check in this Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68.
R68 T68, the Golden Eagle, I want to say the original. Is that what they call it? The original Golden Eagle? We'll put the ad up here. There was the Eagle. And then in 1967, after that radio ran for, maybe 18 months or so, came the Golden Eagle, the R68 T68. There was a couple of versions, Series 1 and Series 2. This had a shorter run, 12 months or so. $395. Where did I hear that price point before? From 1966. So this is the same price point as the was it the Tramp? So still not a bad deal. Probably the last of the almost affordable Brownings back in the day, although the price did go up when they went to the Mark II. Let's hear more from that Browning. Over.
Yeah, this is thanks to Harvey resurrecting the radio. But yeah, it's a good old Browning. Excuse me, good old Fresno Air. Browning, Golden Eagle, Mark none. It has the banana mic attached, so it's completely stock.
So, you had that $400 in your pocket, and you'd have to decide, especially if the radio store, the electronics store was across from the used car lot, whether you were going to get that 1962 Chevy Nova with the small 6-cylinder engine, or you're going to go and bring home a full set of the Golden Eagle. I don't know. I think I might have went for the car back then, but I would be sorry in 2020 that I didn't go for the radio, probably.
Well, actually, I had one of those old Novas, and it had the 283, though. with a Hurst racing shifter in there. It was a little spring-loaded guy. It was pretty quick. Anyway, thank you for letting me bring by this radio, and I think I have one more after this one.
Okay, and I bet that would have gone used for a little bit more than $395 if it was in drivable condition. You never know. The R68 T68 Browning from Laconia, New Hampshire, back in the day. 30 years progress in electronics. It says, see it now at your Browning Franchise Sales and Service Center. I wonder if you could get one back. Who's our sponsor tonight? From Allen Radio and Electric at the Bridgeport Laundromat. You could carry it out in the laundry box along with the Salvo detergent. Thanks for bringing by Radio 5.
And thank you. I'll be right back.
Well, Dwayne, if you had the Nova, it might be worth more than the radio, but my guess is it probably wouldn't work as well. Never thought of trading the other way around. Drive the car into the lot, get your money, and then go buy the radio. That's probably the smart thing to do.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
And we are looking for radio number 6.
45.
Number 7.
All right, Ed, stand by. Take a trip over to the green room. We will catch you for Radio 7, but right now, Radio 6 is online. Hello, Paul, over.
Okay, this is my no-name radio. That's written up as Paul's no-name radio. Back to you.
All right, make me look through the Rolodex here for a one-of-a-kind, perhaps. Let me see what I can find in the files under Paul's no-name radio. It might be under no-name. Give us a transmission. I'll see if I can find. I know it's here somewhere. Tell us a little bit about it while I look for the picture here.
I'm sorry, look under unknown radio.
Okay. It's under the U. I'm looking in the R and the P. Here we go. Did this perchance was a bonus in a box of Lucky Charms?
You got it right there. I didn't hear all what you said there. That's the one. That's the radio. Has a CB license number of a KOA 7170 written on it. Back to you.
So there's a radio. Probably had, you want to put channel 12 in there so you could talk to somebody that wasn't KOA 7170 Unit 2. You think there was ever a Unit 2 with this? Let me go to the close-up here. Yep, KOA 7170. Anybody know KOA 7170? Some of the S9 magazines would actually print the latest FCC calls, and somebody's got them archived. I haven't taken the hours and days it might take to go through the files that they have and see if anybody could ever come up with, like, hey, there is KOA 7170 from Lawrence, Kansas. See what was up with that. Boy, for a radio that looks quite unassuming, it's not sounding too bad. Over.
Yeah, well, you should see it up close. It's definitely handmade. The guy was really good because he had things put in there. This takes 10 tubes in this little thing, and they are in there tight. He must have been really, what do you call it, expert mechanic on the thing.
Anyway, it's only 7 inches wide, 5 inches high. It's got a microphone that's plugged into the front on the thing, and it's got off-on control on it, squelch control, and a front-fired speaker, and that's it. 0. It doesn't have very many holes in the back. I drilled a couple extra there just to breathe a little bit, but it's already had a lot of holes drilled anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. But other than that, I'll tell you, it's working. Back to you.
Chrissy says it might be, maybe it was something out of Hogan's Heroes. One of those prison guard radios. Did you have to put channel 11 in it? Did it come with channel 11?
Yes, it did. And by the way, this is a Turner microphone on the thing. Turner model 350. The thing I wired it. It's got that little plate on the front. Yeah, just the way it came, right here.
It's got plenty of audio. It does not sound bad. The speaker looks kind of small, but you're hearing me okay, and I don't know if I guess you've got the controls memorized so you know which knob to turn, although there's not much you have to do. If it comes on, you're pretty much on the air, right?
Yeah, if you said metal, and I wouldn't say particle board, some kind of a board like that they use on the thing, a plastic board. And what was the other question? I didn't get it.
I say you may not be confused by the switches because once the radio comes on, there's not much more you need to do except key the microphonium.
Well, I'm still having a hard time. Anyway, the microphone I'm talking about in my hand. I get real close to it. What it says to do on the thing, it's a hand microphone. It's got an extension cord on the thing, and it's not hardwired in. It's plugged into the radio. They apparently did it, whoever built it.
Still working in 2020, so we don't know the age, but we're going to assume it's probably mid to early 1960s. And had they known that it would be being featured worldwide on the Old Tube Radio Network, maybe they would have taken just a little bit more finesse in putting in those front panel screws, although, hey, you did a good job. Whoever you are, KOA or K, whatever they call letters, you did a good job because it's featured as radio number 6 on the Old Tube radio network tonight. Also, Paul, your Demco Satellite Deluxe did manage to ring the Demco bell tonight, so you can be proud of that as well. Back to you for transmission. Thanks for bringing it by.
You're more than welcome. I hope someday somebody will recognize it, but I doubt it will ever happen. This thing's been out on different places that have sex, and I've never given me a reply on it. So, but anyway, you never know. Thanks, Dennis, for checking it in.
And someone says maybe it was through a mail order. Maybe someone made it and went to the was it Leo Meyerson site for something like that? You never know, but me thinks it's definitely one of a kind. Thanks for bringing it by, Ed. Step up into the air chair, but don't take a transmission yet, as we find out who was the breaking station for OTR.
51, Dennis. I was late tonight. Sorry.
Hey, not a problem. I paused because I figured you might have had some static or something, but here you are beaconing in to Midtown Fresno, so I will put the X in the square where it goes if I find the right page. There it is. All right, Dean, we've got you checked in. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis. You guys have a good evening. Good night.
All right, we're doing it. Let me give you the official SWL check-in on the page. So if you go back to the archives, you will see indeed it says checked in. And we head over to radio number 7. Hello, Ed.
Well, hello. This time, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB.
People are remembering. They must be humming the Golden Eagle song in their brain and realize that we hadn't heard any Eagles, and now we've got 2, the Mark III, and if Harvey makes it to the microphone, I think that's all he has. It's not an Eagle though, but it is from Browning. Let me find the appropriate photo, which has the Golden Eagle microphonium, and go back to you for transmission.
Yes, the picture you're bringing up actually has the microphone in which I am using. Not that one, but my own. Yes, a gold-plated, limited edition, made in 1976 for the bicentennial, gold-plated E104.
And nice audio, a little different tone to the ping on this one, but the way the radios work, the style of microphone, where your squelch is set, where you're setting, from the speaker, all kind of determine, along with some internal components if you want to, what the ping might sound like. Back to you.
Yes, the ping is adjustable on this one. It's got 3 settings, but normally I leave it on the short one.
Good for the guy wearing the headphoniums here for a couple of hours. Radio 7 from SWL7, and we'll mark it in, since we need another 7 here, at 9:37. Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. We've said it before. 1972, when those first hit the market, and that replaced what was all the pieces of the Mark II, which basically did the same thing, but it took a lot more boxes. There was an AM version of that if you wanted to save about $200 from the almost $700 that this would cost. And the transmitter would be about half the size, but still sound great on AM. And those were manufactured for a good 4 years until there needed to be something with 40 channels in it. So what can I say? There should be some info coming down soon from the gentleman that worked at Browning Laboratories, answering some very interesting questions. So we'll keep you up to date when we hear more about that. Thanks, Ed.
Oh, my pleasure. And as far as the Browning goes, the Mark III, the receive is the best, practically any radio I've ever had, including modern ones. So they did a hell of a job. Anyway, with that, we'll listen to what you got left.
Sounds like a good thing, and I know about that good receive. Back in the late 60s, when I had my 100 milliwatt walkie-talkie on various home-brew dipoles and fish poles, and on my little Schwinn bicycle, I hooked 2 of them together and tried to make it sound like an eagle. But anyway, I had a decent antenna, and somebody heard me that wasn't, just 5 blocks away. Usually 5 or 6 blocks is about the best I can get. And the guy was in another town and a half. He was a good 2.5 miles away. And he could just barely hear me. He was always on channel 11 because my walkie-talkie had the channel 11 crystal in it, the CB11A. And he was running, I still remember this, he was running a Browning Eagle receiver. And people running lesser radios that were much, much closer could never hear me on the walkie-talkie, but I had a good conversation with, his name was Skinny Elmer. That was his handle. This old crotchety guy, and he had one of the early calls. One of the, not like KEO 8492, like the 1WX25, so probably the early 1958 or 59 calls. He used to come on with that call, but I remember Skinny Elmer hearing me on the 100 milliwatt walkie-talkie from about 2 miles away on the Browning. OTR standing by.
37. 25.
All right, we've got Radio 9 will be 25. Jerry, head over to the green room. We'll pick you up in just a moment. And our next radio at 9:40 is being commanded, operated by Chris. Hello.
And hello, Dennis. No, Jerry, out there, you're sounding good over this way. Anyway, Dennis, I'd like to check in my general radio telephone, if that's all right with you.
That is all right by me. That is my duty here tonight when I check in with the powers of be at the OTR Central Control. That's what they say. They say check in as many radios as you can. That would be okay. So go right ahead.
Okay, well, here we go. I'm going to check in my general radio telephone, Super MC11A, and this is the 24-channel version of this in here, strictly AM. And we read this here actually with the original handheld stock microphone. No additives, anything behind it, no magical tube in the back to boost it up for power or whatnot. Is what you hear is what you get, or what you get is what you hear, something like that, one of those two, but this is it, and I'm here. Hello.
No lids, no kids, no space cadets. This radio is not strapped. There was a way to put the octo plug in the back and put it into business band power, but it would not have that type of audio if you did that. It might have a little bit more signal. Radio always works. I'd probably ask you this, but I don't remember the answer. And you might not either, but I'm just wondering how long you have had this Super MC11A.
Oh, God. Been quite some time, probably 10, 12, 13 years, something like that, maybe, give or take. I don't know. Somewhere around that time, maybe even longer. I don't. Let me see. I put my radio back inside. I'm going to say maybe, that could be even size 15. I'm not sure.
It's been a while. I know we've been checking it in regularly for quite some time, and it always performs very nice on the Tube Radio Network. So Radio 8 is your General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. I think their last one before the the last one before the Super MC12, which didn't really get type accepted, and when they went into Skyhawk Communications. But good deal. Lisa's got a green dial. We've got fans of green, so the green channel selector will be good. Back to you for transmission, and thank you for bringing it by tonight. Over.
No problem. I had to wait my turn actually, we've been busy doing stuff and whatnot, enjoying each other. So, time together, we got to do that once in a while. Of course, we're together every day. Of course, she's working at home, so. And I'm always at home unless I'm at the doctor's office or whatnot, or to the store. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Other people want to get in there, too. Because I know Jerry out there wants to key up that radio. He's talking on that loud one. I'm out and letting you get to it.
All right, and we are getting to it. Thanks for, I always say that, thanks for people who take time out of their Saturday evening activities to jump into the radio room to fire up the radios. I know everybody's busy, and it takes some effort, and we do appreciate that. Thank you, Chris. Heading over to radio, I'm getting mixed up here, 7, 8, 9, radio number 9. When we get to more than 10, I'm going to have problems. I'm going to have to take off my shoes. Radio number 9. Hello, Jerry.
Hello, Dennis and Chris. Chris and I must have just a pipeline to each other because he just blows my socks off, too. So, anyway, sounded good, Chris, and everybody, Paul. Just real quickly, let me check in this Holocrafter CB3A. Talking on a non-powered D104, and it's got this wonderful receive, and hopefully the transmission and the audio is just as well. So as the receive is, I should say. So anyway, back to you. Oh, by the way, this does. I guess the Holocrafter CB3A came with some options, and I do have the VFO dial on the left, and I do have the signal strength meter that is bouncing up and down as I talk, and pretty simple little radio, on, off, volume, squelch, and channel selector, and that's about it. Dennis, back to you.
That is enough, and that radio, interesting enough, does all that with only 7 tubes. There is one, let me go to the control room picture. Right here, right in the back, right behind me, from the collection of SWL-37. I needed some props for the radio room here. That has killer audio. Let me tell you, when I hooked that into the audio board, it's like, I can't believe that little radio can sound that good. So keep that in mind if you ever want to go high fidelity. That would be the radio to choose. Let's go back to the radio. You talked about accessories. On the close-up here, on either side of the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H channel selector, there are 2 rectangular slots. You can see some screws. The panel will unscrew out of that, and you can put, like this one is showing, an S meter, which was an option, probably less than $20. It would go into a little plug that's inside the radio, and then in a receive VFO would go into the other side, and you'd plug that into a thing. So kept the price down like a car, you know. Remember, radio, heater, white wall, and all that stuff? Well, back in the day, you could get just your radio, and if you'd like an S meter and a VFO, we can add that too before it goes out the door. Back to you.
I know, and I forgot to mention about the ever-popular orange light, not red light, but orange light on the lower left-hand side when you key up the mic. So anyway, and I hope your FM 1000 is still alive and working. And I remember a time years ago where you actually used to put on a demonstration with that. So, but anyway, it's okay. Don't go through it. Don't disturb the cat. Don't knock anything over. But anyway, thanks, Dennis, for checking it in. Back to you.
Well, yeah, it's over on the bench, and I'm trying not to move around here too much tonight. But I did talk about the helicopter. I got my helicopter story in for tonight about the CB11A walkie-talkies and Skinny Elmer and the General Radio telephones and, 2 miles on 100 milliwatts. So that was a helicopter's radio. And Mitch said something about changing the crystals around for the 455 split or difference, and that's what we used to do. We'd have our own channel. We'd take the back off the walkie-talkie, put the receive in the transmit and the receive, and we'd be down on 26-something. We'd have our own private frequency, although I think the walkie-talkies were a little bit out of resonance when you got that far away, but they still worked. I've got a, let's see, thanks, Jerry. I also got a late check-in from, I think it's Brown Dog Audio, right? Yeah, let me, 57, I believe. Trying to find the list here so that I do this correctly. Yeah, Brown Dog Audio from Central Kentucky is in listening. Worldwide Sidebander 1942, thank you for saying hello. We've got you checked in, and the Jingle Singers want to do one more thing while I have the radio keyed, and we will be looking for Radio 10. All right, I know we'll get Radio 10 tonight. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
37.
And I was going to break to check in 57, but you got it.
Yes, I saw it earlier, and then it scrolled off the screen, and I was checking in radios, and my brain functioned. My short-term memory actually worked. Thank you. Radio 10. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Dennis. Well, Dennis, I'm going to check in this one here. This here's another one. This is a tuber. I'm going to check in my Chris 23 Plus CB transceiver, 23-channel tuber that glows in the dark. Everything's stock in this thing, even with the stock microphone. Over.
You cannot go wrong with out-of-the-box radio. And especially this particular chassis, this particular 11-tube chassis that was one of the Panasonic chassis that I want to say they used plate modulation. Always had great audio on the 12AX7 modulator tube so that you didn't have to worry about going more than stock to make the radio sound good. Back to you.
Okay, well, it's definitely stock. It's working. That's the main thing. Let me see here. And surprisingly, I'm looking at the meters, and it does show some forward swing. Not nearly as much as the general, but it does show that forward swing. Over.
And that is a good thing in the CB world, or probably any radio world for that matter. If you might not have your glasses on, so if you don't, no big deal. There are three. I'm trying to do extreme close. I can't see what it says. Squelch, volume, and the band spread. I bet that's a delta tune. I was trying to figure out what that third knob was next to the mic connector.
Let's see. And the other one, was you hearing me when I was talking there?
I was not hearing you when you were talking there. Over.
Can you hear me now? Over.
I can hear you now.
I forgot to flip the switch on. Anyway, this here, on that one knob underneath the channel select, that's a band spread thing. Whereabouts you're out of tune, I can tune you in. And then the one next to that there is, of course, volume. And the one next to that there is squelch and standby. I can turn that off, and I can talk on another radio on the same frequency, as you know, and will not bother it at all. The meter won't be going jumping them down, hollering them, hey, turn me off. You're killing me over here. But no, it's one of those type of things. Over.
And that's a good type of thing. You want to keep the radio on and actually have a little fun on the CB. I think the Chris, out of all the Panasonic chassis, seemed like they had the lesser of stuff on the front, with the lesser of the lights and not as many switches. So maybe price-wise, that radio was a few dollars cheaper than, say, like the Robin T123B. I don't know. But it works well. I mean, still, it's what's inside that counts. Who used to say that? Somebody used to say it's what's inside that counts, and this counts big time. Radio number 10, the Chris 23 Plus. Thanks for another radio.
You betcha. And also, above the mic plug-in, you got the Modge light right there, which when I'm talking, it's flashing red over and over and over. And also, if I had the volume up a little bit more, you even make it blink when you talk. Over.
Well, I don't have big strap audio like a lot of the stations do. Okay, before you go, we have a request from one of the SWLs. So take your hand of choice, and the knob that we were talking about earlier, the one next to the microphone. Put your hand on that and tell me, does it turn continuously, or does it click into the position? So like you'd have a center frequency and then it would click to the left and click to the right, or is it a variable item of interest? Over.
It's just a variable item of interest, as you say. It don't have no click or anything, and it goes so far to the left and so far to the right. And you dial it where about you sound the best, but there's no clicking to it. It just comes to dead end to the left and a dead end to the right, so you just stuck on the loop right there. Over.
All right, no clicks, m'lady. So if you were to turn it, just turn it while I'm talking. Turn it all the way one way or the other way. Giving you a workout here. You didn't expect this, did you? I'm assuming you can still hear me okay, or do I sound fuzzy? Do I sound fuzzy if you turn it either to the right? Let's see, I'll go to the right. Turn it to the right, turn to the left. Actually, that was the opposite way. What do you think?
Well, when I turn to the right, you sound fuzzy. You definitely sound fuzzy, scratchy like. Turn it to the left all the way, and actually it brings you stay pretty clear for. The receive on this thing is off a little bit. It needs to have some work done to it. Actually, I need to get in here and figure out how to get the signal strength up higher. I can't hear people that good, and even with the squelch all the way open, it just doesn't work that good. I have to do something to it. I don't know what, but need something on that there. But I can't even make the S meter move.
Oh, wow. Well, maybe you're just talking to the wrong people. You got to talk to those big strappers. Well, it works for Saturday night. It has channel 11. I can hear you great. The SWLs love it. So do I. So it's a hit. And it's Radio 10. Thanks for bringing it by.
You betcha, no problem. All right, Dennis, I'm going to get out. This is my last one for tonight, so I will talk to you. Be good. Be safe.
All right. And Jimmy, thanks for that. I just noticed that the Chris seems to have less stuff on it than the other ones. I noticed it doesn't have a range boost, and you flip the S meter, sort of like the Gemtronic. So yeah, maybe it was, maybe Panasonic said, we'll dole out these chassis, whoever wants it. If you want to have the rights to have all the lights and all the knobs, you got to pay us a little bit more. If you don't care, we'll give it to you cheap. But hey, don't put that switch in there. Our lawyers will be talking to you. It is 9:55, a few more minutes for the Old Tube Radio Network to get your radios checked in, or shortwave listening items if you wish. And we're looking for Radio 11. And then the Jingle Singers said,
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
I'm getting word from the Jingle Singers that their throats are getting parched and they want to go over to the snack bar. So they said they want, okay, well, we can do that. At the end of the program here, go to one of the oldies but goodies. Our friends from the Espresso Trucking Company that were so gracious enough to stop by a month or so ago. What's on the jukebox over there? What's on the jukebox? Okay. Yeah, we didn't get sued when they did this last time, so maybe we'll luck out again in the world of YouTube. Back in a minute or two.
Hello, DX, my old friend. I've come to shoot skip once again. Because my ears softly tweaking, pinned your meter while I was speaking. And the audio that punched through your RF gain is not to blame. It's just the sounds of DX. In restless dreams I talked alone, when no DX could reach my zone. Neath the halo of an old two-man, I keep my mic down like a DX jam. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of my on-air light, it lit the night and filled my ears with DX. And in the distant night I heard an eagle sing an AQ bird. People talking without breaking, people talking about nothing, people keying old tube rigs that crackle through the air without a care, and fill the waves with DX. I said, bros, you do not know how to work an oscilloscope. Watch my TikToks that I might teach you. Swing your beam so that I might reach you. But my words, like burnt out vinyl fell, it's just as well. Echoed in the walls of my shack. The operators bowed and prayed to the noise toys they had made. And the scope flashed out its warning in the waves that it was forming. Net control said the words of the text are written in the photo facts and CD tricks, and whisper in the sound of DX.
Great OTR. And if you've got it, we're looking for Radio 11. Yeah, that's how you thwart the YouTube copyright police. You make sure you have a record label that they can't find. But I assure you there was no payola involved. Dwayne, I see your post. I think you may be correct. Now that he's, real comfortable, but only has to take a few steps to get into the radio room, that could happen. So I don't know. We'll see. I've got the 2 meter fired up. I'm just waiting for a 1045 call on the 2 meter when he says exactly what you thought. And doing the counting and amounting.
How do you do?
Where did that come from?
Gentlemen, greetings to you, wherever you are, for music and the latest news from home.
Maybe they want to go another hour. I don't know.
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
They just want to show off the other guys, I guess.
Uh-oh, the jingle singers are getting jealous.
That's what I'm thinking. They usually sing their go home song.
Well, sometimes I can wake up Harvey. Hey, Harvey, wake up.
Break OTR.
The Break OTR. You have come to the right place. Hi there.
Okay, Dennis, number 20 here. Can you hear this radio okay?
Yeah, in fact, I don't even recognize your voice. I hear it that well. No, you sound good. You sound very good, over.
Okay, well, I'll check in my traditional radio after this. But I thought just in case there was a little noise, I found this one. Since I've been moving everything, I find stuff now. This is a General Radio telephone, Super MC11A.
Ooh, another one. I think the Super MC11As could rule the OTR roost if everybody that I know in the area that has one got on in the same evening. Yours, if I can keep the transmitter key down here, yours has a very mellow sound to it, so we'll discuss what you're doing from the microphone, but it sounds good. Over.
Okay. This one's got a little bit of a receive problem, but I'll fix that. Anyway, the microphone is a Turner Custom Special 1 gold microphone, which is basically a +3 type mic, only painted gold, and looks real good with the radio.
Interesting. Compared to how we hear Chris, and I'll look at the S meter because he's probably 1 or 2 S units, or let me go another, like 10 dB better signal-wise. your radio is much more mellow than his, but it's still loud. So the difference between the original stock microphone and the Plus 3, I bet that would be a good radio to try a lot of different microphones with, like a Shure 444, and which would probably sound a lot like that, or a D104, which would have a little bit more punch. It's doing well. So you found the Super MC11A. I don't even want to ask where it was.
Well, it was in a box. Mark MC11A. So while I was moving stuff, instead of putting it in the garage, excuse me, I brought it in here. But I think last week you were talking about the difference between the stock and then when you put the plug in. And I think I mentioned that some people wire it to one of two switches in the front, which is what someone did to this. Now, I have not tuned this at all for output, wattage output, etc., because this is just a temporary antenna. So when I flip the switch, my signal may go up, but probably my audio out will go down.
All right, that'll be a good test here before we sign out, and I can get a picture of the radio and the S meter so we can see. I was noticing that it has a lot of forward movement, more so than typical for the generals that I see with the amount of audio. So it may actually be correctly set up that they give it a little bit more headroom, so you have less, your unmodulated carrier is less, so they can get the full audio out of it. Because it sounds really good right now. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep the S meter up with the radio. It sounds like you can do an easy transition between that and what we call in the CB world strapping the radio.
Okay. Here we go. This is normal. And possibly the radio is tuned for the low side. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to flip the switch. And there's the switch flipped. Doesn't make the noise. Oh, there we go. Flip. Anyway, that's the high side. I do detect the audio being a little less, but then basically, as I said, I haven't tried to tune this to the happy medium where you get a good audio response output-wise on the low and the high. It's not going to mess with this until I get the proper setup. That's the high side, and then we're back down on the low side.
Difference of a full S unit, so that's probably 6 dB at least on the carrier, and there's a definite noticeable decrease in the audio. I'm thinking that we have heard Chris so much on his Super MC11A. I'm thinking that is not the mic for that radio, or maybe it's one of the radios that has such good fidelity you need to match the mic to the voice to the radio type of thing. And when you kick it up to the extra output, it just gets even a little bit less. So I'm going to say that microphone is not doing that radio justice. But we hear you just fine. If you listen to the archives, I'm sure you'll be pleased. But yeah, you got a good 6 dB of signal boost. I don't know what that would do if you were on someone's noise level. My guess is the extra S unit would definitely help, but you lose a little bit of the audio punch. So there's got to be some compromise here somewhere.
Roger. I just switched mic to the hand mic that came with this, the General CSM. Got the little meatball in the middle that says General, then below that CSM. So this is the mic that came with it.
All right, not as mellow, but it seems to have more punch. Go ahead and do the A-B switch again.
Okay, that's the extra switch. Needle-wise, on the meter, on my long tone, it really moves.
Yeah, that's a better microphone for the strap version. It's a little bit louder. It's a little bit punchier. It's just, I don't think that the first one, I mean, it works fine. It's just not, it doesn't match your voice as well. So there's probably still a magic microphonium with that. And we had talked about strapping the radio, and I'm kind of interesting to see how it works. So yeah, it doesn't look like it's overdone or adjusted where there's too much carrier, because otherwise it would really bring the audio down. So it's working. So what switch do they take away to do that in the front that you don't need?
Okay, well, this switch is the noise tone switch, the NF tone switch, in-out. When it's out, it's on the low side. When it's in, it's on the high side. When I found this radio in a box, I also found another box that was a little bit taller, and it said MC11A times 2. So yes, I've got two others, and these have tags on the top telling me which ones they are, what the outputs are, serial numbers and everything. These were at Bill's shop, and we were selling them, and they never sold. Bill didn't want to take them with him, so I ended up with them. So I've got two more, and I will check them out and probably get rid of two of the three.
All right, sounds good. Do those have, are you aware, do those have a external speaker jack in the back somewhere, or some way to run audio out of them?
They kind of do. It's the plug. It's the 9-pin plug in the back. I think you can, a couple of the pins are for an external speaker. So I think you can hook it up that way if you want. And then strapping it, you put in a plug in the back that shorts a resistor in the audio, in the modulator circuit. And that's what gives you the higher output. But this one, the switch is the in-out tone switch. On one of the others, I believe it's on the local distance switch. And that's how they did that. But anyway, this is the General Super MC11A, and I think I've got it as number 3. On the tag on top, it says number 3.
Okay, interesting. The audio is starting to fade away a little bit, so keep your eye on the wiggle meters. I had an ulterior motive for asking that question because I was thinking to do an OTR radio, I have to have it has to have an audio output so I can feed audio to the circuitry here. So that radio would be on my list to use as a net control radio, but it has to have a decent audio output that doesn't have hum or things like that if you had to go through a transformer. So we'll keep that in mind. I would love to hear how that radio would perform through the and GWD Labs is saying yes, let's do this. Would love to hear how that sounds through the more than expensive audio gear here. Radio 11, the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. Sounding good, one of the many. Before you go, take a transmission, because things were starting to fade away, so hopefully there is no smoke pouring out of the top of the radio.
No. I had backed off the mic. Okay. Back down to normal. Okay. I've got another one to check in, so I'll be back in a bit.
Okay, we'll do some counting and mounting before we jump out of here. And glad you have a radio room that is not miles away.
So, who's our sponsor tonight in your pocket protector there?
The sponsor tonight, let me show this, the pocket protector, now that I have a pocket, from, I think this is just a generic pocket protector to get you to put your logo on it, but it's there's the pocket protector. Showing those in video. In radio, I should describe it. It is a white sort of a vinyl with 5 tubes across the front. And the words that say, I give S&W green stamps with Sylvania tubes. It's called the Ad Forever Pocket Saver with 1, 2, 3, or 4 color imprint. So it was probably a demo. And to answer your question, asked ever so long ago, the sponsor tonight, the pen that goes into the device, and I'm not set up for close-ups, Allen Radio Electric. Okay, it's Allen Radio and Electric Bridgeport Laundromat. Don't ask. Phone 65, Bridgeport, Nebraska. So as you are putting the tide on your unmentionables, you can, while you're in the spin cycle, you can run over to the other side of the laundromat and look at your favorite radio.
OTR.
And there's a break OTR. I want to say good evening to Dwayne, because he says the battery is about to go. So go to the charger and charge up the battery. Good to have you along. I want to say hello to our station listening in Oregonia, Ohio, where it is 1:28 in the a.m., clear and 62 degrees. And I think we have Radio 12 on the line. Go ahead.
Radio 12. Okay. The Browning R27 S9. I did not have time to do the capacitor, as you can tell. But how is the room noise now?
The room noise is back, but it is not objectionable. Over.
One of my D104s had a sock on it, so I took the sock off, put it on this. So I thought maybe that might help.
Yeah, put a sock on it, buddy. Yeah, it helps. I think a lot of it's just you have a lot of mic gain and you're in a big room. And in the 35 years we've been doing this, that is always a Browning issue. If you're in an empty room with a Browning, with any type of microphone, unamplified or not. Let's see, you said you have the S9, so I'm showing an S9 transmitter. But I think maybe it's a 23 S9 because it has 23 channels. So you can help me out with that if we're even close to being the right thing here. It's got an S meter on it. This is the transmitter I'm looking at. It's got two lights. It's got a jeweled dark red and a lighter red. But anyway, back to you.
Yeah, the 23 channel one is the 23 S9. Although some people modify the S9, just pick 22 channels. Now this one's got the red on the air light on the right, and then just below it is a yellow Vox light, which if I turn the switch on, the light goes on, but nothing happens. And then right above the channel selector knob, which is on the bottom in the middle, are 6 neon little lights. And you flip and you change channels and each light goes on. A, B, C, D, E, F. And then the modulation meter on the left. And then in the center top area they have kind of a funny little rectangular thingy where I suppose you're supposed to list your channels or something. It's just like a blank. Anyway, this has powder-coated light cream brown colored cases that Bill had done. And it's got a suicide knob for the channel selector on the receiver. It's got one of those things where you can crank it around the edge there to go up and down fast. And a Golden Eagle D104.
Very good. I will have to see if I can get the proper picture at some point here. But that's a very, very good word's eye description that we need for our radio audience. And it sounds good. The sock and all.
Oh, that was nasty. Funny thing about the General, the one I just had on, it had been on for about 3 hours. And tonight was soft taco night. So I made a soft taco, didn't heat it up much, brought it in here, it was on a paper plate. And I placed the plate with the soft taco on it on top of the General. By the time we finished the QSO with the General, the soft taco was nice and warm.
You may have to write, maybe we should do the OTR cookbook. And depending on what it is that you're cooking, if it's macaroni and cheese, you might be able to get away with the Guardian, the Pierce Simpson Guardian 23, which actually I think is a pretty hot radio. Who is it? The Robin T123? If you've got something that's big, it needs a lot of heat, maybe you have to go with the Robin. We might have something here.
I will fix this by next week, I hope. Okay. Anyway, I'll let you go, and I'll listen to the end of the show. Appreciate you letting me check both these in. And next week, I keep thinking this one should swing like the General. When I look at the meter, I go, ooh, something's wrong. But no, it's just fine. I'm going to have a tram for next week.
All right, the radio room is evolving, so that will be good. I'm hoping someday the same thing will happen here. Thanks for Radio 12, the S9R27 combination. Do some counting and amounting. It is 25 after the hour, going a little bit late, but that's good. Keep in mind about the recipes for OTR. One of our SWLs, and Mitch has a killer recipe for 8950 salmon. So bring out the who had the 8950s. Bring out your Siltronics, and maybe we'll have the Old Tube Radio picnic in Luau. Do it with the radios. Back in a moment, doing some counting and amounting on your Old Tube Radio network. And this is the tune I think we wanted to hear.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
All right, I'm back. See if we still have people awake out there. It is late on the West Coast. It is super late, or is that very early on the East Coast and somewhere in between? We had 12 radios tonight. Who was the most heard manufacturer? You probably know. We had check-ins SWL-wise 57. Next week will be the 8th week in the roster. So if you haven't checked in, how would you know that unless you're listening? If you haven't checked in, you need to get checked in to keep your number on the rotation. 12 check-ins on page 1, 18 on 2, 15 on 3, 22 on page 4. That's like the entire page. See, if you wait, good things happen. For a total of 57 SWLs and radios, we had 12. There were 2 general radio telephones. I thought we might have got a third, but we did get 3 Brownings, thanks to the S9 R27 combination. So here we go. Here we go with the rundown tonight. Radio number 1, the Robin T123. Oh, and I'll get a tube count because we added some tubes there at the end. In fact, I had a total. Let me put the amount of tubes we had. All right, I've got a tube total as well. All right, here we go. The Robin T123 was radio number 1. Thanks to Mr. Ed for that. Radio number 2, Paul on the Demco Satellite Deluxe base station. All 17 feet of that radio. Radio number 3 was the Tram TR27E from Mr. Ed. All right. My foot's falling asleep. I can't keep the transmitter keyed. Radio number 4 was the Sonar Model E. That was from Paul. Radio 5. Someone did a good job of billing that. I hope they're proud, wherever they are. They're proud to know that their radio beacons across the Universal Media Netweb in 2020. Thanks, Paul, for putting that one up. Radio number 7, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III, came in with Mr. Ed. Radio number 8 was the General Radio Telephone Super MCA from Chris. SWL-25 Jerry was on his Helicrafter CB3A. Radio 10 was Chris on the Chris 23 Plus, Chris with Chris. Radio 11, Harvey with the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. That I bet you checked that in a long time ago, but it's nice to hear it. Nice to know it's going to get in the mix. I hope you put that on one of the, check-in tables when you get the Radio Shack going. And we'll see. Maybe we get a general here in the Old Tube Radio Net Control if we get the right options for it. And then Radio 12, you just heard the 23 R27 S9 Browning Labs combination, putting the Browning Labs as the most heard manufacturer at 3. But we like them all. If you didn't know, it doesn't matter. If it glows in the dark and it's homemade, homebrew with no name tag on it at all, you can bring it by, check it in. We will be happy to put it on the list. Speaking of the list, we had a total of, with the addition of that last check-in, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper. What did I do with it? 140. 140 total tubes beaconing, dancing across your radio or Universal Media Netweb device. So good night, everybody. I need to jump out of here and do something. And Ed says the Robin will cook eggs. That's another thing. Maybe an omelet. Maybe we can have breakfast. The OTR breakfast and steak and eggs, and you might need a whole set of radios to do all of that. Good night, everybody. Thanks to SearchLawrence.com for keeping the Nixie tubes running, and thanks to all of you for keeping the Old Tube Radio Network running. We will be back next week, I think, with your favorite radios. In the meantime, if you're studying for your amateur radio license, keep it up. They are doing virtual online testing and things like that. You should enjoy getting into more things like antenna building and different frequencies. We're in cycle 25. The sunspots are gathering. So now is the time. And if you have a chance to get on the radio wherever you are at and promote tubes or just getting on the air, do that as well. It's fun. Talk to you later, everybody.
R2700.
Oh, all right. because I was looking for R27. I thought that's what it would be. I will amend the paper. The ink is still wet with an S9.
The ink is still wet on my money, too.
All right, but you sound good. You sound good from the radio, the new Radio Shack. Do you have the 2-meter device set up there as well, or is it just handheld when you're in the car?
When I'm in the car, I have the Yaesu 880 or 8800. That's in the car. In the house, just the handheld right now.
Okay, because I've got I'm playing with my new toy over here, so I might be listening more if I have the frequencies right, and I figure out how to. The radio has 4 different manuals for it, so it's taken me a while to do what I used to do because I knew how to do it. But that's the 21st century for you. All right, I need to jump out of the air chair for sure. So back in a week at least.
Can you mention on the air what the new toy is?
Oh, it's a new 2-meter 440 radio. It's the Yaesu, the newfangled, the FTD, and the 400, what is it, FTDM. It's got the APRS and the GPS and the wires and the C4FDM, whatever, digital modes, etc., etc.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the 2-meter 440 that I had in the house at the other place, I have here, and I'm trying to figure out how to put up an antenna. I do have a mag mount that I could hook up with it. The only problem is, where do I stick it? So, no, wait, I don't want you to tell me, that. But anyway, so I could have that up. I'll have to think about it and then figure out what I'm going to do with that. So that would give me a little bit on Simplex. It probably wouldn't be that good, but I should be able to hit the repeaters. And then eventually I'll get the big bad boy 2-meter 440 up. Okay, I'll let you go. Overkeen time.
All right, I might be able to hear. I can hear Mike when he's outside on his handheld. So you never know. Although my antenna is less than stellar, I'll have to try it sometime. Okay, I'm going to jump out of here. I had a bout with the dermatologist earlier or later in the week, and I think the dermatologist won. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go work on that. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Dennis. Great net as always, and thanks to Bozo Control.
That Baker Oscar, Zulu Oscar guy.